Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all here in this webinar session of TNV Academy. For today's webinar, we are glad to have Mr. Ajay Bajpai with us as the guest speaker. Today, he will be sharing his thoughts on the topic non-conformity and corrective action, which is covered under clause 10.2 of ISO 9001 standard. Mr. Ajay Bajpai has audited several organizations for ISO 9001 standard and has assisted many others in implementation of the standard within their organizations as well. Our distinguished speaker, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, has done his bachelor's in engineering in metallurgy stream. He is also a lead auditor in ISO 9001, 14001, 45001, 37001, 22000, 27001, 13485, 22301 and 50001 standards respectively. He has an industrial experience of around 38 plus years in field of manufacturing, quality control, quality assurance, design services and technical testing. He has been imparting training to a number of organizations, entrepreneurs and individuals on various topics related to ISO terminologies and how ISO standards are implemented within organizations. It was just a brief introduction of our guest speaker today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ajay Bajpai. I may request Mr. Ajay Bajpai now to please take over and start the webinar.
Thank you very much, Apoor, and the team of participants. If anyone is keeping his mic on, so please mute it because I observe some disturbance coming. So all participants are requested to keep their mics on the mute. They can unmute it when we finish the webinar and when we are getting into question answer session. So good morning. I welcome you all on behalf of TNV Academy and TNV Group of Companies for the seminar which is being conducted today on non-conformity and corrective action, which is part of ISO 9001 2015. It is also a part of many other standards, but today we are focusing on ISO 9001 from quality management system point of view. We will be having a opportunity to discuss when we discuss other standards and the treatment of non-conformities of products, process, system and services for other standards as well. So as we can understand from this discussion which we are beginning now, that we are talking of non-conformity. There has been a situation in past 2 decades that many of the trainers, auditors and consultants have only been focusing on system non-conformity. They always have been thinking that it is the system non-conformity which only needs to be taken care of. But we realized it very, very clearly when we went into discussions of the improvement. The theme of ISO 9001 is what? Improvement, continual improvement. How does it take place? It takes place when we can bring overall improvement into the operations of the organization. It is not only the system, it is the product, it is the processes, it is the services, it is how we deal with the customer complaints, it is how we deal with the improvement in the customer satisfaction, which includes internal customer satisfaction, external customer satisfaction, and the final customer, the end point, the last point of the customer satisfaction. If we can look all this in totality, then the theme of ISO 9000 system certification is met with, that is the continual improvement. And every clause of ISO 9000 is linked to some or the other clauses. I have also indicated few links like 8.2, 6.1, 10.3 and so on. Whenever we read the standard more and more, whenever we are studying the various clauses, we'll always find the words, the meanings, the logical and literal meanings related to some or the other clauses, because no clause, no activity of the organization in totality is going stand alone. Everything is linked together. And we always know that if we have to bring overall improvement into the system, then the entire chain of the clauses and department function individual needs to be strengthened. So whenever any non-conformity happens, I have explained and discussed that this is not only the system, this is product, process, service, operations. All non-conformities means wherever there is a gap between the documented system implementation and the customer specific requirements, which includes internal, external and end customer, that is called a non-conformity. So non-conformity whenever happens, we need to act upon. We need to show our reaction as an individual, as an organization, as a group, as a quality circle, or whatever we are running in the organization, we have to react to it as per the applicability. It is important to react as per the applicability because sometimes we have seen into third party organization auditing that organization individuals sometimes react in a different way, which is not really applicable, not desired. So it does not give the results as expected. And then once we go into the reaction against the non-conformity, we need to take actions to control it. And then finally, correct it. There are various parts of a non-conformity actions being initiated. We will discuss in details and also deal with the consequences. For example, why it said because if you have a problem coming, issue coming from customer complaint, customer is a very critical customer and he has initiated some complaint. So there can be various kind of consequences. We may not get further orders. Our orders may be reduced if we do not deal it with the customer representative with a polite and diplomatic way, as per the the desired quality of auditors and customers and the human beings, then consequences can be sometimes serious internally and externally as well. You can switch off your video. Video is not required. Yeah, because if you switch on the video, it disturbs all the participants. Okay. So mic should be mute and video should be off. That is the rule of the webinars globally. And then what happens when we have this exercise going on? We need to evaluate the need for the action and whatever has been the regions, we need to eliminate them, we have to reduce them, and we have to see that any undesired effect, any undesired impact on the quality is being reduced. It is slowly taken back to the zero level. However, reaching zero level may not be possible. We discussed earlier, but our effort should be to see that eliminating it to the maximum possible practical way. It is also getting linked with the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. As I was discussing with some of the participants in the beginning, what are Sustainable Development Goals by set by UN? There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and the whole globe has been working towards that since last 2 decades. So it is directly related to the industry, innovation, and infrastructure. If we can have a control and we can deal with the non-conformity in a desired and required and systematic way, then improvement is a natural phenomena coming out of it. And when improvement comes, the industry directly linked with that. Innovations always come when we go into the root cause analysis, and definitely when we improve the infrastructures as required, when we are dealing with the closures of non-conformity and we are going into the root cause analysis and corrective actions are being implemented, infrastructures also definitely improves a lot. So these are few of the points we discussed here. Now we go further into detailed discussion. Sorry, let's go to reports and non-conformity. So whenever there is a non-conformity, whenever there is a complaint coming from customers, whenever complaint coming from internal customers, we need to have report, and we are trying to categorize it as NCs, non-conformities, which can be major, minor, and so on. That we will discuss in another chapter when we discuss the non-conformities specifically. So we need to see that effective actions are taken so that the same or similar type of non-conformity or gap does not reoccur, or the same thing should not occur elsewhere. We have got a system of purchasing. There was a complaint because of wrong purchasing done. So because the reason found was improper review of the purchase order. So similar thing can happen in case of a inspection situation where improper review of the inspection report has been done or improper review of the customer order received has been done. So we need to take action so that the similar actions, similar problem does not reoccur, and same type of problems are also controlled elsewhere into the management system throughout the organization and also linked to the interested party. Then we need to review and analyze the non-conformity. Whenever there is a non-conformity system or product or process, we need to see it carefully. We just need not to take actions on feelings and thoughts. Oh yeah, it has come. Oh yeah, we will deal it. No, go into the details. do a proper systematic analysis, and then take actions. And further go into the causes of non-conformity. Why this non-conformity has come out at all? What are the reasons? So we have to determine the causes, the reasons, the background behind it, and determining if similar non-conformity exists. If same type of things are existing as we discussed above, we try to control, understand them, and also know that. And also sometimes into auditing, we also explain that what is the difference between an NC and an observation. So observation is a potential non-conformity. In the same way, if we have got some potential causes existing elsewhere into the system or into the operation or to the processes, we need to understand them and take actions. And then we implement any actions needed. When we do the cause analysis, we definitely plan the actions for implementation of the control onto the non-conformity. So implementation is the key point here. Then we need to review the effectiveness of any corrective action. A lot of organizations we have seen into third party auditing, we have seen their internal audit product non-conformity systems. They are able to reach a good situation after the implementation of the action. But review the effectiveness is lacking at times. Unless we review the effectiveness of the corrective actions, the desired result will not be achieved. We also understand that yes, all these standards are now talking of risk and opportunity, and nothing is left out from the scope of risk and opportunity into the organization. So we have got charts and situations of risk and opportunity. Whenever any NC non-conformity product process is taking place, we need to update our risk and opportunity chart and metrics so that the effective and better opportunities are indicated and risk is further controlled. And there are situations into second party and third party audit, and even in first party internal audit results. When we observe into the auditing and training, we see that the changes are not done. The management system documentation is not updated. The inspection process frequency has been changed. The production machine capability has been deteriorated or improved upon. But to address that and to meet those requirements, the documentation of the management system is not updated. So the results will not be what we really want, because we have done a lot of exercises, we have done detailed root cause analysis, then we have implemented the system, and there has been a change in the chart and the monitoring method or the frequency or temperature or humidity control, but the same is not updated into the procedure or work instruction. So the desired results will not be further achieved. So it is important that we keep on updating our documentation along with the implementation. So now we go next to the next slide, that is desired results. We always look at what are the desired results coming out of the implementation. When we plan the implementation of this clause 10.2, the entire team needs to be trained with the concepts. What are the concepts and importance of non-conformity? What is the concept of filling a good report? How to write a good report so that the analysis of report can be done. So the training part is important, and once they are trained, the desired results are in the positive direction. Also, NC handling, NC objectives handling, NC policy systems are able to demonstrate that yes, our ISO 9001 certification system will be implemented appropriately and it will meet the requirement of all internal and external customers. So once the quality management system is getting assurance that yes, NC handling is taking it into positive direction, we are all satisfied with the implementation of it. Then reports, our reporting format and NC reporting method should be smart. I always say specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and target oriented. Smart means language should be smart. When we write a NC, when we develop a report format, when we develop a report, the language should be smart. It should be meaningful and logical. In third party auditing, we observe sometimes with the help of an internal team or external team or with the consultant or third party auditor, sometimes the report formats are developed and updated, but the language, meaning, and logical sense is not coming out of it. So, this is very important for implementation and achieve the results. The language needs to be understood. Why it is so important? Sometimes we go in third party auditing and we see their internal audit non-conformity report. We have to ask, sir, what is the meaning of this non-conformity? What is the meaning of disclosure actions? You may understand, but I am not understand because there is a language problem. There is a meaning is not clear. It is not logically written as a corrective action plan. Root cause analysis is not talking of logical sense. The NC was regarding the machine improvement. The corrective action plan is saying about the management improvement by some training. Both are mismatching at times. So we do not understand how improvement will come. So smart actions are necessary. Also meeting the needs of interested parties. We have got variety of interested parties available. We have got several entities available. They have got needs and expectations. So our whenever the non-conformity procedure and system are being documented, implemented, their needs are need to be taken care of. Our report and NC policy of the organization should be so that the theme of continual improvement is coming very clear and NC process is continuously being improved. Also, we need to record the results and the nature of NC and what was got and what corrective actions we are taking. Into internal audit, sometimes they will be able to take action, but appropriate records are not there regarding the nature, the type of non-conformity. They will format will have so many things, but formats are not ticked properly, formats are not filled properly. Every format, every serial number into it has got a meaning because their designing when it was done by a team, they wanted definite results to come out when these forms are being filled, when the root cause analysis is being filled. They are not made just like that to meet some requirements if they want real improvement. Real improvements will come only when the results are recorded appropriately along with the corrective action plan. So now we go further into the planning action. We have understood the requirements now. Understanding requirements is one part. Planning of the actions is next phase of this action, phase 2 or phase 3, whatever we call, depending upon how we have planned the steps. So good and effective and smart documentation of the report and NC format is very important. We have observed in many organizations that they just copy paste format of others. Every organization's nature, product, process, employee concept, their behavior, their thoughts, their philosophies are different, including the management. So one document format may be good for one company, it may not suit the other company. See, basic concept may be same, but type of format, type of writing, type of language, one format written from the concept of Arabic countries or US companies or European companies, not South Asian companies, may not suit the requirement of Bangladesh or Pakistan or Sri Lanka or Nepal because they have got a different culture, they have got a different kinds of presentation of formats. So it is very important that documentation should be done with respect to the particular organization. Copy and paste is good, but modify it to suit your organization culture and requirement. Then provide necessary training to the auditors and inspectors. Inspector means the term used is mainly for process and product inspection non-conformity. They are also a part of the NC handling system, not only the system by internal auditors. So they should be trained adequately so that they know how to fill the information in the reports and how to read the reports, how to derive the right information out of the report. A report should be so meaningful that most of the persons who are trained, they can derive the same meaning out of it. Then the implementation will be moving into the same direction with the similar frequency of thoughts developed into the organization. Display of these procedures, methods, formats is again very important, and updation of them is equally important so that anybody who needs to fill a sample of a good report is available and a sample of a bad report is available, so they know how a good report to be prepared and they know what to be filled into the report. So displays are very critical to that extent. Many organizations will display all these procedures system onto their website so that their customers, their clients, their vendor, their suppliers, their statutory and regulatory board, depending upon what product we have, there are specific requirements also. They are displayed on website so that conceptually the entire team of the implementers, the interested parties is on the same wavelength. They understand the same documents appropriately. There are various kinds of softwares available today. SAP, ERP, and other multiple softwares are there to record, document, implement, do analysis of the NCs and put corrective actions, including root cause analysis. So they should be available to the implementers as desired. And communication of this system, internal and external communication, is again equally important, including interested parties, so that when a situation of NC is observed and we encountered a product process system NC, then we can handle it the way it is desired by the organization and we achieve the results as desired by continual improvement, including the thought of PDCA and management principle. So now the planning is done. After planning, what we do? Action plan and implementation. So we need to implement what we have documented. I always say objectives. Objectives are very, very important. So that way, this clause 10.2 gets very well linked to the clause 6.2 as well, and the reporting format as well as the documentation and clause 8.4 also. So we need to implement our NC handling, NC closing methods, which are defined in terms of objectives again to see that yes, the system has started running. And then we keep on monitoring this process and plan and how the reporting is going on with the philosophy of SMART, objectives of NC handling and NC closures and further monitoring. And then we do the analysis of objectives of the report. Reports are created into many organizations, they are developed also, but they need to be analyzed effectively so that we know what is the direction of our entry handling and report handling objectives are moving. It's positive, it is the same strata, or we are getting into the more details with the help of other techniques to update this thing. So now we update the objective charts and we keep on reporting them on a continual improvement path so that the results are going in the positive direction. And implementation as required is very, very important. Sometimes we have seen in organization unnecessarily they keep into CC of mail to many persons which may not be desired and they get undesired results, then they get unnecessary comments from the authorities because unnecessarily they have kept into the CC of the mail, or the messages has been sent or WhatsApp sharing has been done. So it should be shared with those only who are required to be done. Unnecessarily sharing and information without need is also giving us negative results at times. So we need to be careful with that. So further, we get into the action plan further. So we are now running the report formats in various functions as per the plan. So now after development and after planning, the format implementation is being done into various departments, various functions at various level as per our plan. It is not only the internal audit team, it is not only the production team which needs to apply this. These formats and reports need to be applied, implemented throughout the organization. And when we go at third party audits, I tell many trainers and auditors don't go only to the internal audit department or coordinator function. These things should needs to be seen throughout the organization. Every department needs to have non-conformities are everywhere. They may not record it, that's a different thing. So we need to provoke them at times into first party, second party, third party audit. Why it is not being done? Why you are not utilizing this beautiful, excellent format developed by your organization team to see that you get the best result out of it? Then we need to enhance the effectiveness of the reports are being filled, but how the effectiveness will be enhanced, how the effectiveness will be improved by continuous monitoring of the reports. And then we need to update the data and report and NC planning chart. Data needs to be updated all the time. We need not to wait We will wait for the weekly meeting, we'll wait for the monthly meeting, we'll wait for the 6 monthly audit, we'll wait for the third party audits. No, if we really want to see improvement coming out of this beautiful system of MCs, monitoring and corrective action and implementation plan, then we need to update the data and charts as and when required, not wait for weeks and months. And I always discuss in the meetings and seminar that we need to conduct the correct calculations and correct implementation with precise data and feedback available to us. Don't go by feelings and thoughts. Don't go by because the top management has given some instruction. Their job is to give instructions, but you need to look at the fact and figures before you get into implementation. Some worker, some operator is giving you some idea of, yes sir, this was the problem, I can handle it like this. No, ask him the data, ask the report, ask him the feedback of how he has taken action onto the machine, what he is going to do to take the action to improve the machine performance, machine capability, CPCPK, how he will improve. Ask for the data and report and the chart before we take some decisions. And then keep on reviewing the data, the facts and figures, not only as an individual or not by one or two person, but with the involvement of all as desired, as required by our process, as desired by our product requirements, as is the input and output requirement of a product failure, process failure, or customer complaint handling requirement, or how to improve the customer satisfaction. So who all are required, they should be involved into this process further to improve. Then we go to the next one, that is we are going to reporting. We have discussed desired results, we have discussed planning, we have done action plan and implementation we have done. In this we have done. Now we go to what? Analysis and future action. We have done all. Understanding is clear into the organization, the planning is done, reports are available, the NC charts are available, product NC charts are available, process NC charts are available, the policy is going in the desired direction, objectives are being fulfilled, objective charts is being updated. Now a time comes when we need to study in small groups and cross-functional teams, I always say. We always say, in fact. So that all are involved. Machine operator is involved when a machine problem comes. Purchase assistant is involved when a problem in purchase comes, when a complaint comes into because of a purchasing action being taken wrong or a management decision taking wrong for a particular marketing concept. So unless we involve them by a good study method, by small group activity, quality circle, whatever name we call, by involving the team, then the real improvements will come. So now we have the data. Lot of companies will have lot of data when they go for the implementation as per ISO 9001 2015 requirements with the focus of NC and corrective action. But this data needs to be analyzed. What type of product or process NCs has been coming more and more? What kind of corrective actions are required most often? Which machine is giving more problem? Which customer is giving more complaints for a particular type of a product? So unless we do a good analysis of that by using whatever method, SPC, SPC, cause and effect diagram, stratification, Pareto chart, there are several techniques available, new SPC, old SPC techniques, and many others, run chart, P chart, N chart. We need to apply them as per the process requirement, as per the product requirement, as per the customer complaint requirement, and then we go into a direction where we can reduce. Unless we know the trends, we cannot make a reduction plan. So knowing the trend is done by monitoring of the data, by using various kind of the techniques, by effectively training the team. Once all this is done, then as per the principles of the system implementation, we are going to have trained internal auditors, qualified and trained internal auditors who understand the concept of MC, who understand the concept of root cause analysis, who understand the concept of monitoring and tracking of the corrective actions, who understands why this is being done, what are the requirements of doing it, Are they mentioning the name of the machines? Are they mentioning the name of the particular supplier or a vendor? Are they mentioning a name of the particular customers and product values? And then the internal auditing is done, and then internal audit analysis is done, so that the team is made clear that these are the results coming out of the internal audit done for the clause of 10.2, which is again getting linked to various other clauses as we have been discussing. So when we have this charts ready of the internal audit report with the effective report format filled with the corrective action plan being recorded, being tracked, then this is put to a effective management review meeting. We have been seeing the management review minutes in multiple organizations for last many decades, and our team has come out to a very clear conclusion that unless we focus on a particular point, the results will never come. So a clause requirement as the input is there to study the results of the internal audit done for products and processes and seeds for addressing 8.2, 6.2, 4.1, 4.2, whatever clauses are coming interrelated with respect to the handling of those particular non-conformities via internal audit and product process handling. They should be discussed in management review meeting by involving various teams as required as per the agenda and as per the plan of the management review meeting, and they need to discuss this particular clause, their requirement, their reports into details. And most of the organizations we have seen who are really making improvement, they will define the responsibilities, authorities, they will develop a good chart of management review meeting minutes, and they will again develop a good chart of implementation and monitoring of the further actions from the management review meeting. Having a good management review is very good, but further implement the actions, further tracking the actions, further involving the team and seeing what actions can be further taken so that the improvement path is made very clear. PDCA principles are being followed, management principles are being followed, and further actions and improvements are coming. So the entire theme is what? Improvement by utilizing this beautiful clause of 10.2 and siege, corrective actions and improvement plans. So I would like to conclude this by saying that number one, it is the understanding the theme and concept, which is very important. Then training of the team on these concepts is equally important. Then doing this analysis, reaching to the practical ground by involving the small group activity involving the employees, operators, and involving the middle management team, top management team. If any of them is missing, then and then when we have the data, analysis of the data is equally important, and then we always through the see the organization through the internal audit report results and their method of reporting and their analysis of the NC, whether the products, process, or system, or coming out of customer complaints, or coming out of customer satisfaction not being achieved, including internal customer satisfaction, external, and the final end of the customer. Because all are equally important to see that ISO 9001 brings improvement into the management systems, and management is convinced and they are ready to invest further into the training of the team of the organization, whether it is the inspectors, auditors, or they involve the HR team by doing a good analysis to see how improvements can be brought about into the system, then conducting of effective management review meeting by looking into the product process, NCs and further improvements, and then implement and monitor the further actions. Most of the actions, if they are not implemented and they are not monitored effectively, improvements will not come. So improvement is all about we are discussing from the implementation into ISO 9001 2015. by utilizing the principles of MC handling and corrective action plan. To further understand the system certification and go into more details, we have got links to ISO certification with the help of certification body, TNV system certification with IAS and IAF available with us, TNV certification with UF approval with IAF with us, guardian assessment with us, and here we are doing system certification of many standards starting from 9,000, 14,000, 45,000, 22,301, 37,001, ISO 22,000, 13485, and so on. And many other standards like education and energy management are coming soon into our banner. And all these websites are very informative. They give all the details. Report formats are available. Many methods of improvements are available, and what we are going to do in future is also available. So can go through these details, and now if you have some questions, we can discuss that. Apur and all the team who have joined, if they have any questions, now they can unmute their mic one by one and ask questions if any. Apur, any questions in the chat box?
No, sir, not yet. If any of the participants has any questions, they can now please ask from Mr. Bajpai.
I will scroll it down, so some question may come into the mind by looking at the line of the standard or line of the discussion. So if no questions are coming, then Apur, it is to you to conclude this.
Yes, sir. And I would again say that if any of the participants has any questions on today's session, this particular webinar will be uploaded on our YouTube channel named as TNV Academy. I have given the details in the chat box as well. So you can check your chat box and you will find the details of our YouTube channel. If in future you have questions on this particular session, you can simply put those questions in the comment section of this particular video and we will be really happy answering them. So I would now conclude this particular session by saying that I do not find words in expressing that how fruitful this particular webinar session was for all of us. I can also say with much confidence that our participants must have enjoyed the context of today's webinar and it will definitely add value to their expertise and domain of work. We will be coming up with such webinars in future as well, so we can always help our participants to gain knowledge on ISO terminologies. I thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of TNV Academy, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, for giving your valuable time and accepting our invitation to be the guest speaker for today. I also thank all the participants for taking out time from their busy schedule and joining us in the webinar today. I hope to see you all again soon in an exciting new webinar session. I wish you all best of luck on behalf of TNV Academy for all your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.